Ellie desperately jiggles the door handle, but it's locked. She pounds on the door, pleading for it to open, as she continues to struggle with the handle. The snow globe music blares throughout the basement and deafens her cries for help. Ellie's lips quiver as a bitter cold moves across the basement. The humming returns in unison with the snow globe music. Ellie's eyes dart towards a transparent figure that hovers in front of the door to the spare bedroom. Dread silences her as she gazes at it, aware that it is slowly moving towards her. Her hands grow weak and she loses her grip on the door handle at the realization of who the figure is. She clasps her hands over her ears and closes her eyes, waiting for it to stop. Mommy? Ellie opens her eyes to see that the basement lights are back on. The snow globe is no longer playing, the basement door is open, and Sarah is standing in front of her. Sarah, did you lock the door? Where is Abby, Mommy? We're supposed to go on the swings today. She promised. Did you hear music playing, Sarah? Mommy, where's Abby? She promised me. She promised. People break promises, Ellie says under her breath. Abby! Abby! Sarah calls down to the basement, trying to force herself past Ellie. Go upstairs to your room, Sarah, now! Sarah keeps her eyes focused on Ellie and slowly steps backwards until she reaches the staircase leading up to her bedroom. She stomps up the steps and slams the bedroom door behind her. Ellie peers down the basement staircase, unsettled by what just happened. She cautiously walks back down the stairs and into the spare bedroom. It is the same bedroom Abby has been living in ever since she was hired. Ellie slowly scans the bedroom. An opaque white vase of yellow tulips is placed on the bedside table. A romance novel sits atop an antique bookcase that Jack helped Abby refinish. A floral satin bathrobe hangs on the back of the door, and a vanity set is adorned with perfume, pearls, and a tube of raspberry pink lipstick. Ellie catches a glimpse of herself in the vanity mirror and lets out a moan of disgust at her appearance. She traces the dark circles under her eyes with her fingers, then runs them down over the tiny wrinkles above her top lip, trying to remember the last time she even wore lipstick. Her once long blonde hair became a pixie cut because she couldn't be bothered to style it anymore. A t-shirt and jeans was as fancy as her wardrobe got as of late. Ellie rolls her eyes and thinks about how she could not compete with Abby's long, wavy chestnut hair, youthful skin, and perfect frame. Ellie's eyes land on the musical snow globe sitting on the dresser that Sarah gave Abby for her birthday a few months ago. Inside the glass, there is a scene of a playground with children who hold hands and dance to the nursery rhyme, Ring Around the Rosie. It is Sarah and Abby's favorite song to sing together. The two of them would mimic the scene in the snow globe, giggling as they skipped around in a circle. They repeated the routine until they were too dizzy to continue. Ellie thought it was adorable at first, but lately she had no patience for it. She was pleased whenever Abby caught on to her irritation and put a stop to it, much to Sarah's begging that they continue. Ellie picks up the snow globe and inspects it to see that the winder was broken off of the bottom, leaving it unable to play. That's impossible, she whispers. Her unsteady hand places it back down. She frantically searches the carpet and under Abby's bed for the winder, but instead discovers a sealed envelope wedged in between the bed frame and the wall. It is addressed to her. She recognizes Jack's handwriting and immediately opens it, but a loud thump upstairs interrupts her. She tucks the envelope into her pocket, quietly closes Abby's bedroom door, and walks back upstairs. When she reaches the top of the stairs, the melancholy humming returns, only this time higher pitched, and it's resonating from the kitchen. Ellie takes a deep, anxious breath and slowly makes her way towards the kitchen door. Just as she reaches the entrance, she steps on a piece of metal embedded in the carpet. She cries out in pain as it penetrates the bottom of her foot. The immediate throbbing forces her to hop on one foot. She plummets headfirst onto the corner of the coffee table, unaware that it causes Jack's letter to fall out of her pocket. She makes an attempt to get up, but is dazed when she notices drops of blood on the carpet. Ellie gently touches her forehead and winces as a gush of blood trickles into her mouth. The metallic taste nearly causes her to choke. Coughing and out of breath, she carefully sits up to gather herself, wiping the blood away from her mouth. Desperate to ease the throbbing in her foot, she pulls it forward and places it across her opposite leg. She gasps when she sees the object lodged into her foot. It is the missing winder to Abby's snow globe. Ellie clenches her teeth, grunting as she promptly removes it and throws it across the room. The humming grows louder and full of anguish. Ellie is overcome by dizziness, but manages to pull herself up and limp into the kitchen. Sarah is sitting under the table, rocking back and forth. Her face is buried in her knees, and her long, unkempt blonde hair is draped over her arms. "Enough of that song, Sarah!" Ellie shouts. Sarah is unresponsive and continues to rock back and forth. Her humming then becomes words. Sarah's tiny voice shakes as she struggles to sing through each word. Ellie groans at the whiny repetitiveness of her singing voice. "Sarah, enough!" Ellie demands, kneeling down to her. Sarah stops singing but does not acknowledge her mother. Ellie clutches Sarah's arm and attempts to pull her out from under the table. Her touch provokes Sarah to gaze up and let out a high-pitched scream, causing Ellie to fall back onto the frigid floor. Sarah's prolonged scream grows louder. "I said enough, Sarah!" Ellie shouts. Sarah abruptly stops screaming and looks at Ellie, wide-eyed and afraid. "What is the matter with you?" Ellie asks her. "Blood," Sarah responds with a weak whisper. Ellie is puzzled by her reply. Sarah throws her head back into her knees and rocks violently and carries on with her melancholy version of the nursery rhyme. Growing impatient with Sarah's behavior, Ellie inches back towards her with the intention of yanking her off the floor. She touches her throbbing forehead and flinches, unaware of how serious her head injury is. Sarah cuts off the nursery rhyme once again and looks past Ellie as if she is invisible. "Abby,"